What if the most successful product in human history wasn't designed to conquer the world, but accidentally did? In 1886, a struggling pharmacist in Atlanta created a 5-cent syrup made with coca leaf extract and cola nuts, and sold it as a cure for everything from headaches to addiction. He made almost no profit. He died broke, never knowing what he had created. Today, that same drink is consumed over 2 billion times every single day, more than most human actions combined. But Coca-Cola is not just a beverage. It is a global system built on marketing, war, secrecy, and psychological influence, a brand so powerful it became part of identity itself. This is the story of how a failed experiment became a global empire, and how it never stopped growing. Act 1. The cocaine drink. How did one of the most valuable brands in history begin? With a wounded soldier and a medical experiment. John Stith Pemberton was not unusual for his time. A Confederate veteran and trained pharmacist, he had a deep interest in chemistry and medicine. But by the early 1880s, he was also a morphine addict, a dependency that began after he was wounded at the Battle of Columbus in 1865, one of the final clashes of the American Civil War. He was injured after the war had effectively ended, a cruel irony that would define the rest of his life. Searching for relief, Pemberton turned to a popular European tonic, Vin Mariani, a wine infused with cocaine. At the time, cocaine was considered medicine, used by figures like Pope Leo X and Thomas Edison. It was prescribed for fatigue, pain, even addiction itself. The logic was simple. One stimulant could replace another. Pemberton created his own version, a coca-infused wine called French wine coca. It sold reasonably well. But in 1886, Atlanta introduced prohibition laws, banning alcohol. Forced to adapt, he removed the wine, added carbonated water, and refined the formula with coca leaf extract, cola nut, and a blend of flavors. He named it Coca-Cola, directly after its ingredients. The drink was first sold at Jacob's Pharmacy on May 8, 1886, marketed as a brain tonic and temperance drink. His bookkeeper, Frank Mason Robinson, designed the now iconic script logo. But success didn't come quickly. In its first year, Coca-Cola made just $50. Pemberton had spent more than that on advertising. By 1888, he was dying, financially strained and physically weakened. He began selling off rights to his formula. Then Asa Candler stepped in, eventually acquiring full control for just $550. Months later, Pemberton was gone. He never knew about his experiment, would become one of the most valuable creations in history. Act 2. The man who built the empire. How did Coca-Cola go from a struggling pharmacy drink to a national obsession? The answer was Asa Candler, the man who turned a formula into an empire. While John Stith Pemberton created Coca-Cola, Candler understood something far more powerful. People don't just buy products, they buy habits. And habits are built through repetition, visibility, and constant exposure. His first breakthrough was simple but revolutionary: free coupons. Candler handed out vouchers for complimentary glasses of Coca-Cola through newspapers, mail, and street promotions. It was one of the earliest large-scale coupon campaigns in American business, the idea that giving away a product could create lifelong paying customers. Today it feels obvious. At the time, it was groundbreaking. Then he covered America in the Coca-Cola name. Clocks, calendars, trays, signs, branded merchandise filled pharmacies and stores, making the logo impossible to ignore. Long before customers tasted Coca-Cola, they had already seen it everywhere. By 1895, just 7 years after buying the company for $550, Candler had Coca-Cola in every US state. He had transformed a local tonic into a national brand through marketing alone. Then came the decision that changed everything. In 1899, two businessmen, Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead, convinced Candler to sell them bottling rights for just $1. Candler believed bottled drinks were a passing trend. Instead, that $1 deal created a franchise bottling network that spread Coca-Cola everywhere, becoming the foundation of its global distribution empire. At the same time, Coca-Cola faced another issue: cocaine. As public concern grew, Candler gradually reduced the cocaine content and removed it entirely by 1903, replacing it with processed coca leaf extract. The coca leaf remained, but the cocaine was gone. That combination of marketing, scale, and adaptation turned Coca-Cola from a drink into a system, one that would eventually reach almost every corner of the world. Act 3. Secret Formula, Global Strategy. The Coca-Cola formula, known internally as Merchandise 7X, remained locked away for decades in a bank vault in Atlanta. In 2011, it was moved to a custom-built vault inside the world of Coca-Cola, where visitors can see it, but never access it. The secrecy isn't just protection, it's part of the brand itself. There have been attempts to break it. In 2006, an employee tried to sell what was claimed to be the formula to Pepsi. Instead of exploiting it, Pepsi alerted Coca-Cola and the FBI. The plot failed. The formula remained untouched. But Coca-Cola's real expansion wasn't built on secrecy alone. It was built on strategy. In 1923, Robert Woodruff took control of the company and began thinking far beyond domestic markets. When the US entered World War II in 1941, he made a decision that would reshape the brand forever. Every American soldier, anywhere in the world, would be able to buy a Coca-Cola for 5 cents, no matter the cost. The US government supported the plan. Coca-Cola received special access to resources, including exemptions from sugar rationing. Company representatives, known as Coca-Cola colonels, were sent alongside troops. Bottling plants were built near battle zones across Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific. It wasn't just morale, it was infrastructure. By the end of the war, Coca-Cola had established a global production and distribution network, largely funded by wartime logistics. When peace returned, the system remained. Soldiers came home with a habit. Local populations had already been introduced. The war didn't just spread Coca-Cola, it embedded it. Act 4. From Cold War to Cola War, what if a soft drink could become a political statement? After the war, Coca-Cola didn't just sell a beverage, it sold identity. In the tension of the Cold War, even everyday choices carried meaning. Drinking Coca-Cola became, in many parts of the world, a quiet alignment with Western capitalism. The company expanded aggressively across Europe, Latin America, and Asia, not just chasing markets, but influence. The symbolism peaked in 1959 at the American National Exhibition in Moscow. During the famous kitchen debate, Richard Nixon and Nikita Khrushchev stood face to face. But it was a different image that spread worldwide. Khrushchev holding a cup of Pepsi. Coca-Cola wasn't there. Pepsi had seized a rare global moment, and Coca-Cola didn't forget it. What followed became one of the most intense rivalries in business history: the Cola Wars. For decades, Coca-Cola dominated, but in the 1970s, Pepsi launched the Pepsi Challenge, blind taste tests that consistently showed people preferred Pepsi. It was a direct attack on the world's most powerful brand, and it worked. Inside Coca-Cola, pressure mounted. In 1985, the company made a decision that seemed unthinkable. It changed its formula. New Coke was sweeter, engineered to win taste tests. The original was gone. The reaction wasn't mild. It was an outrage. Consumers protested. Phone lines were overwhelmed. Letters flooded in. For many, Coca-Cola wasn't just a drink. It was part of their identity. Changing it felt like something had been taken away. Just 79 days later, Coca-Cola reversed course. The original formula returned as Coca-Cola Classic. The announcement broke into national television. And then, something unexpected happened. Sales surged, loyalty deepened. The failure had proven something no data ever could. People didn't just drink Coca-Cola. They believed in it, and sometimes belief is stronger than taste. Act 5. The empire that sells everything. How large can a single brand become? Today, Coca-Cola operates on a scale that's almost impossible to grasp. It owns more than 500 brands, sold in over 200 countries, including Sprite, Fanta, Minute Maid, Powerade, and Costa Coffee. Its annual revenue exceeds $45 billion, and it has remained consistently profitable for more than a century. But Coca-Cola's influence extends far beyond business. Its branding helped shape modern visual culture, even popularizing the modern image of Santa Claus as the red-suited, white-bearded icon recognized today. The bottle, the color, the logo, all studied, replicated, and embedded into global identity. Even investors see it differently. Warren Buffett has held Coca-Cola stock since 1988, with his firm Berkshire Hathaway owning a major stake. He once explained his investment simply, not because it's the best product, but because he cannot imagine a world where people stop wanting it. That's the real achievement. Not just a drink, but a habit, built over generations and designed to last. And that's the story of Coca-Cola. Not just a drink, but a global system shaped by chemistry, war, marketing, and belief. From a struggling pharmacist in Atlanta to a brand consumed billions of times a day, its rise wasn't accidental. It was built through coupons, bottling deals, wartime expansion, and one of the most powerful branding machines in history. What began as a 5-cent experiment became a cultural constant that crosses borders without translation. Because Coca-Cola was never just about taste, it was about habit, memory, and identity. And sometimes, the most powerful empires don't announce themselves.